Hey guys, we are here with Kairy-Tate Barkley, and she is the owner and incredible entrepreneur, easy for you to say, mother of fabulous children, mother of 3 incredible stores, the French Cuff Boutique, and you're celebrating an anniversary year, and we're so excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So you ventured into doing what so many little girls think when they are young women. They want to be in the fashion industry and they want to have a store. And you make it look so easy, but the more we talk, I know it has been an incredible journey for you. And you weren't always in fashion. Like, you had a real job, a day job. Kind of tell us about your path and how you got here.
Okay, I will. So, in high school, and maybe even in middle school, but just thinking back to high school, I was so into fashion, and I would go to Goodwill and I would put together unique outfits, and I had a good friend, we would do it together, and it just was so fun to arrive at school on something no one else had. I just had a really big passion for it, and at that time dreamed of having a little boutique. But then as I went through school and went into college, this is going to sound very shallow, but I just really wanted to make a lot of money. And so I was thinking, what can I do to make a lot of money? And I can be in sales, and I don't know what I'm going to sell, but I want to make a lot of money. And so that was really my focus at first, was let me jump into something that will give me a great livelihood. And so I went into doing sales and recruiting, and it was great. It was a straight commission job. And meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I'm dreaming of this boutique that I always wanted, but I was staying focused and did recruiting for a while and moved into more of it was feeling a little empty, so I moved more into an employee relations role in HR in a big company, and that was very rewarding, and it was very challenging and very engaging and very trying, actually. And so because you were just dealing with a lot of issues and negativity, and I still had in the back of my mind, I just wish I could have that little boutique. And so at the time I was married and had built up my career to this point, and had the golden handcuffs and all of that, but just felt a little empty. And so I talked with my husband at the time about wanting to pursue this little boutique, and it was at the time we didn't have children, but we were dual income, no kids, and kind of living the life and traveling, and we had to agree that we would go down to one income, and that we'd kind of take this risk of me opening this store. We at the time didn't have the money to just put into a store, and so what we agreed to do was take out a loan on our house and use that money to open the store. That was very scary, and it was also in a time, it was 2007, and we opened in 2008 when it was difficult to get a loan.
It was so difficult then. It wasn't those low interest rates.
That's right.
And we have right now either.
And the economy was starting to, crumble. For those of y'all remember 2008, it wasn't fabulous. But anyway, forged ahead, as scary as it was, and opened the first French Cuff Boutique 13 years ago in 2008, and I feel like the rest is history. It was the scariest thing to do, but I will say the scariest thing for me was to go into my boss's office at the company where I worked and turn in my notice. Everything else was hard, but not as hard, because I knew I was kind of ending that career, at least in that moment, and walking away from what I had built to that point and into something that could completely fail. So that was the hardest thing I did. And then, of course, opening a store, there's a lot of details and a lot of money, and I had never opened a store before, so I was kind of learning as I went, although I read a lot of books and I talked to a lot of women who had started their own businesses, and men, to kind of understand the fundamentals.
And you were selling, even when you were working at your other business, you had sort of your side hustle, like
Yes.
I did with the Vintage Contessa. I was buying and selling bags on the side while I was still working, which gave you an idea of how you could actually make a living doing it.
I did. So while I was at my corporate job, on the side, I started selling a clothing line that was sold through home shows. So I'd work at my day job, and then in the evenings, I would start doing the clienteling and prepping to do these home shows with this clothing line. So, I wasn't even sure I would be good at selling clothes to women. And so it was through this side job that showed me, A, yes, I do really love it. B, I can be good at it. And C, I really, 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 really want to take this risk. And so it was through that sort of side hustle, to use your words, it gave me the confidence that I needed to walk in and turn in my notice and say I'm going to go for it.
And it's a competitive market to have a boutique. I mean, I've had friends that have opened and closed boutiques. I remember one of them in particular. I said, what brands are you going to carry? What are you going to do? Who are your market? And she said, well, I think I'm going to sell to moms at the school, and I'm not really sure what brands. But all of that, and she's an incredibly smart, talented woman in the workforce, but she didn't really develop a business plan. And what I found so interesting is you picked a niche. You weren't going to be everyone to everything, but you started in a neighborhood and you really worked on the connection. It was in Bel Air, so you still have that location, right?
Still do. That was the very first one.
Bel Air and Westview, and you knew who your market was, which was?
Really moms who wanted to look pulled together. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. There was an age range from like mid 30s to mid to late 50s, really appealing to that market. I will say that there was an evolution with what we carried in the store. We kind of opened with an inventory that we thought was a good fit. But then in reading the customer as they came in and listening to the customer and really appreciating what it was that they really wanted, we evolved quickly to, and we're still evolving actually. Things change all the time. We bring our customer on a journey with fashion, and we're bringing the stores on a journey with fashion and relationships. And so it's, you can't just sit still and
no. And shopping was different then. In 2008, I think most people were accustomed to going into a store and buying, and then so many people now just order online. So it's even more amazing that you could have 3 stores that are successful, made it through COVID, which was a time when people were not going out. Let's talk about that. Like, how did that change your buying? And we're coming into a new phase now even that has changed your buying.
Yes, so quickly. So with COVID, so at the time when COVID onset, we had 4 locations. And obviously when the city was shut down, things changed really quickly. And even before that, our customers were shying away from being in public and shopping. And then of course we were completely shut down. So it did change everything. And we didn't have a shop online website at that time. We did have a website, and it was more of like a catalog style website where you could see what we offer, but you couldn't actually make purchases online. So once we were shut down, my marketing person and I, we flew into, oh my gosh, we need a shop online website. And we were able to quickly get one up within a few weeks. Kind of bumbled through it, but we got it together. And I will say, sometimes I get sensitive talking about it, but I mean, instantly our customers started shopping. It was like they were just wanting to support us and do what they could while we were closed down. And we had to put a lot on sale. That was the big driver of the cash flow at the time, was just marking down, because the clothes in the store were just sitting there aging. And so the promotions really helped. Meanwhile, you're taking a huge cut and you're basically making no money, but at least you're through your website moving the merchandise. And then when curbside opened, things got a little bit better. But meanwhile, my fourth location in the Woodlands was just suffering so much, and I was very stubborn about closing that store because I knew if it was a different time,
It could have.
I think it
Yes.
could have taken off. It's just, we were basically bleeding out, and something had to change. And the stores in town, while they weren't thriving, they showed that they could make it through if we made the right decisions and had enough cash. And so my business dramatically changed because we closed down a store. But as far as what we were carrying in the store during the COVID time, we had a real shift. Our customers would come to us for pulled together casual, dressy casual, kind of going out, having fun, styling. And it quickly went to loungewear, super casual, things that we had kind of only dabbled in a little bit in the store. And I will say that we shifted gears pretty quickly. We put those promotions on, sold out the stuff through our website at rock bottom prices to make room for this new style of dress. And I did want to comment that over the years we have really developed strong relationships with our vendors. And I have to say, through those relationships, we've always had strong partnerships, mutual respect. We've always worked together collaboratively. So when the times were difficult, they worked with us and we worked with them. And it was hard getting merchandise at that time. But I know we were shown priority for the merchandise that we wanted in a timely manner because of the relationship that we had had over the years. I think that definitely was part of our success because at that time, and even still now, because we're dealing with delays out of China and delays out of where merchandise is coming from, shipping delays, we're still dealing with a lot of delays. But I think because we had these strong bonds with our vendors and mutual respect, we helped each other. That in this time, I think one of the reasons why we are surviving and almost thriving again is because of those relationships.
And I find that to be the thread. You are our 51st podcast guest of Living the Authentic Life, and we had 70 podcasts prior. And I am with successful people, I find that they know when to stop and when to keep pushing through, because commitment and determination is so important. But you said, I knew it was time to close the store in the Woodlands, and you knew when it was time to take a loss and move forward because you believed in the process. And the other thing I find to be so consistent is connection with all sides of the business model. That it is not just a consumer relationship, but it is a sourcing relationship. It is the relationship of the team. That your team members, and that's what I find to be the most consistent struggle with any business owner, is the team of people that manage, that are willing to also be flexible, because you hired them to do meet with people who walk in the door every day, and then you're saying, become a website expert in photography and posting online and managing distribution.
And work from home, and there were so many changes.
It's just, and if there's anything that we've been strengthened from, it's that ability to know that our connections with our shoppers, our connection with our sources is able to have flexibility. And I love it. We had a friend that walked through that has been shopping in your store, and we were talking with, and her kids are off at school, so she's looking for that UT orange. And we had somebody that came in yesterday and bought the orange Hermes TPM Evelyn for his daughter, which, by the way, shout out to the dad that buys his daughter the Evelyn bag for college.
No kidding.
But it is so interesting, like we can be in our head thinking about what our journey is, but really it's about what our clients' needs are too, and you being able to adapt to that. So it's football season. It's also high school football games and the colors that they're wearing. It's sorority colors. What are some of the other interesting things you've been surprised about?
Well, one thing that I'm very happy about is the shift back. So we, for a long time during COVID, we had a store full of loungewear and a little bit of activewear, but it was just mainly comfort. And then, boom, things started opening up. People started feeling more confident about going out and having to then reshift back the merchandise to something that would accommodate where we all are now, which is not exactly where we were before, but we're making that evolution, and we'll get there. So that's been exciting. The exciting part is just seeing how it changed from what it was to what it then became, and now I see where it's going, and I'm super happy about that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love hanging out in my loungewear on Sunday sometimes, but I do love getting dressed and going out and seeing people and engaging with people. And I do like to put on makeup. I look way better with makeup, and I look way better in a cute outfit. I feel way better in a cute outfit, but anyway. That's just me.
We talk about that repeatedly on our post, and we talked about that when we met you. Danette and I are like the queen of, we're not having a good day, so we're going to dress for the day. Dress to pull ourselves out. I walked in the store, immediately was like, oh, that pink jacket. I have 6 or 5 already. And we're like, why don't we make it 6? And you were so generous to give this to me.
Of course.
But it lights up your face to put on a bright color and to be able, and when you're in this intimate shopping experience, I like that your team welcomes you, but you don't feel forced to try things on.
Right.
But I think it's great to like branch out, because we're in the fashion industry. We know kind of what to look for. I've had my color analysis done. So even me at my age, I'm trying to search for more color and not just buy black and white and stay with that. So tell us a little bit, okay, fall is officially here. We got like the slightest bit of a cool snap here, but people are going to be coming in. I've noticed faux leather.
Yes, leather and faux leather is huge.
It's and it's done, but more in a casual way, where it used to be like the really tight leather skirt or something. Now it's like, I saw some great kind of jogger looking faux leather that it seemed to be that transition. But then we're even doing that with heels.
Yes.
So talk about some of these trends you're excited to share.
So one of my favorite trends is the leather and faux leather. And I love seeing it in a more casual way, like the joggers that you mentioned, but also we have these great leather cuffed shorts that are pleated in the front that you can dress down with a graphic tee and a sneaker. But you can also dress up with a silk cami and a blazer and your stilettos and look amazing. They're very multifunctional, and that's what I love about them. And with the weather here in Houston, we have a long time to wear something like that. So that's very exciting. Pink has been trending strong since last spring. It's trending big for the fall.
Yes, I saw it's like fall color officially. I'm like, pink for fall? Yes!
And all shades. Like we have the bright magentas, and then we also have more of the blush. All shades are trending, not just for the fall, but actually trending forward through the spring, the upcoming spring. So it's really, you're buying something that will have longevity, which is exciting. I also love that we're seeing, high-rise denim has been in for several seasons now, but we're sticking with it. But now we're seeing like the high-rise boot cut, which are amazing. Boot cut comes and goes in popularity. It's back in right now. And what I think is so important about that is that it's very elongating for your legs to wear a boot cut, and especially now coupled with a high-rise. It just is very elongating for those of us who don't have long legs. It's a beautiful thing. And for those of you who do, they're actually cut long enough for you now. So it's nice. Anyway, so I've really enjoyed seeing that come back, especially with the high rise. And, dresses are back and big right now, and we just can't seem to be.
And florals, the floral flowy dress. I feel like some of these things were really even popular back in the 80s when I was dressing in middle school and high school, I remember those Jessica McClintock, I don't know if you remember, but like that kind of old fashioned, and maybe Bridgerton and some of those shows that have been on have also influenced just a little bit to have that kind of style of being a little bit more traditional. Although I have to say, my daughter's fashion is really surprising to me. I talk about Bella all the time. So yesterday she ordered her first pair of Lululemon mom wide at the bottom pants that I have, that I still was wearing when they were out of style to wear at home lounging. But like you're saying, the wide bottom coming back. Yeah. And then for me, homecoming was the time you actually went to a football game and went to a dance. So you were wearing something more like a floral long dress or something. Now like the homecoming dresses are like fitted and scalloped. And so are you also dressing mothers and daughters? And how are you kind of stating that what the mom feels comfortable with and then what the daughter is seeing on social media?
It's been interesting, but I will say, really, since we opened, we have had that beautiful dynamic of mothers and daughters coming in and shopping, and we've been able to read that and make sure that we have something for both. And in some cases, it can be similar, and in some cases, it's very different. And it's something that I feel like we do well here, because you both the mom and the daughter leave with something exciting. As far as balancing or managing, the daughter gravitating towards something that's more cropped and something that's more fitted and definitely a lot shorter.
Really short.
We have some moms that get it and will be more comfortable with it. We try to balance it out. If they're showing a lot of leg, we step in and say, okay, let's cover the top up. Or if they're showing a lot at the top, let's have a little longer. We try to balance for the daughter and the mom in the best way that we can.
And I love that. And that was something that I really learned and tried to embrace in my style, was that you can't be showing all of this up here and then also have something really short, or you're giving the wrong message and it's not being pulled off in a way that you feel good about it.
Right. And I think also in general, shorter hemlines can be really fun.
Yes.
I think
especially with their figures.
Yes, and you can be more conservative on the top and have a shorter hemline, but you can also not wear a stiletto.
Yes.
Like a high heel. Wear a tall boot if you want to wear a high heel, so that you are covering up some of the skin, or wear a flatter shoe. Sneakers are really big right now, so if you want to wear a shorter skirt, put it on with a sneaker. It's so cute. So you're just kind of balancing the overall outfit to where it looks more tasteful.
Yes, and your accessory game is so strong here. I love that you guys are always showing hats, because I'm a hat fanatic, and I just walked in and saw a pink one and put it on immediately. Yes. And I do have a pink hat already too. But so tell us about accessories. Like, what are you seeing? I love your initial necklace. I think those are so cute, and I've been seeing a lot of people doing those.
Yes, well, personalization and wearing initials, that's always in, but it does come and go in popularity, and it's more popular right now. So we have initial necklaces, initial rings, we have initials on bracelets, and so we have a nice selection of that. And also layering your necklaces is really still very big right now. I'm doing a single necklace today, but typically I have 2 to 3 necklaces on at any given time, and it's very pretty. It started out more delicate, but people are getting a little heavier with the layers.
Yes.
Which is fun. Things just change and evolve to keep it interesting. We can have a classic, sometimes traditional style, but still incorporate trends that are current in the way we dress, the ones that we're comfortable with. So, I consider myself a little more classic in the way I dress, but there are always ways to incorporate a trend to fit where you're still comfortable and you're still your true self.
Exactly. And I love the combination of wearing costume fashion jewelry that is more cost effective. That is trendier, although what you're wearing, I feel like, is also very much like those hoops are great, that they would last forever. To have gold hoops like that is a really big investment, and then to buy those pieces and it's lighter weight sometimes to do the fashion jewelry,
Yes.
as opposed to doing the actual gold pieces. And just from a safety standpoint too, not that people know the difference, I feel a little bit more comfortable, especially traveling, bringing my fashion jewelry with me than bringing my really expensive things and leaving it in a hotel room.
Right. Well, and yes, mixing is so important. You want to mix. It's not necessarily in fashion all the time to be head to toe in a certain brand or head to toe in elevated pieces. We have like with your store, you have luxury brand, like elevated pieces, real jewelry, and brands that we all aspire to have, and you provide it in a way that is more accessible, and I love that. And so, I may be wearing a dress that is not necessarily a brand name, and it wasn't a super expensive dress, but I can dress it up with a great luxury handbag or a great luxury watch or a piece of jewelry, and you can elevate the whole look that way. Or your Valentino shoes or your Valentino bag, or however you want to do it. I think it's great to mix and just kind of create your own unique style through what you're wearing and what you love.
And that was the way my brand actually started, was me having these go-to accessories to go, because I came from a family and work with the family business where you invested in pieces that went up in value and you didn't buy clothing. So I was always looking for the value in the deal. And the great thing about our business is we got to travel to Europe, and I was always looking for things, and everyone knows I love Europe. I haven't been in a while, but you just came back from Portugal. So let's talk about how you packed for a trip, because that's a big thing people ask me a lot when we were traveling a lot. Like, did you do carry-on? Did you bring a lot? Did you pick a color? Tell us, like, what do you pack for a trip to Europe?
So I hadn't been to Europe in a while, and I hadn't taken a trip that was this many days in a long time. And so it was like I had to remind myself, okay, how do I do this? I did, for the most part, pick a color palette. I did a lot of black and white and pink, because I too love pink, especially the brighter pinks, although I'm wearing like more of a blush pink today. And so I started with that process and knew I wanted, it was really shoe based, and
it is.
Yeah, I really was like, which shoes do I really want?
So I love that you do that. I kind of start with the shoes and the handbags and then go up from there, because you can only take so many of those.
It's so true. And so I knew I wanted to bring my black studded boots. I knew I wanted to bring my Valentino espadrilles, and of course a pair of sneakers, and then I always travel with a flip-flop because I don't like to be barefooted anywhere.
Good thing. Some hotels in Europe are not desirable.
Right. So anyway, I started there, and from there, knowing that it was a birthday celebration and we were going to be going out in the evenings and wanting to be dressy casual. Portugal is not a formal place to go, but they have elevated restaurants where you want to do dressy casual.
I love that. And I too base a lot of it on one jacket. Sometimes I can bring two. I'll pack one in and bring it on the plane, and then I try to throw in a wrap that I could, or a scarf or something like that too. And sometimes I bring a hat, but hats are hard to travel with.
They're really hard to travel with. I do think bringing a scarf is very smart, and normally I do pack one, but didn't this time, and ended up borrowing a scarf from my friend. So I was like, gosh darn it, I forgot my scarf. It's a great way to have yet another layer, especially if you're going somewhere where it's cool in the evenings. You don't necessarily need it during the day, but you might want to throw it on in the evenings.
Okay, and how do you handle this? Do you use your cute tennis shoes to work out in also, or did you bring workout tennis shoes and cute tennis shoes?
Okay, full confession. I never travel with my hiking boots. Never. Because they're too bulky, and
I know, I struggle.
I want to look cute on the plane, and so I will not wear them on the plane. But the suitcase that I had was a bigger suitcase. And so after I packed everything that I wanted, I was like, okay, I think I can bring these hiking boots. And so I packed the hiking boots, and I ended up, even though there was exercise that we did that didn't really call for hiking boots, I wore the hiking boots and it was perfectly fine.
Got it. I know. I struggle with that too.
Yes.
Because sometimes I'm like in my Chanel tennis shoes working out going, I'm getting these all dirty.
Yes.
And I'm freaking out about it. But because that is part of it, is that if you're going to really be balanced when we have the time and we're on vacation, and it's a fun adventure, I feel like, to go. And how were the Portuguese people to you?
So friendly. And everyone was friendly. I do think that you get back what you give. So most of the time. So, they were very warm and friendly. They were very welcoming. Everywhere we went, in general, a lot of the Portuguese people spoke English.
Okay, so let's talk about back to school.
Okay.
You are a mom.
Yes.
And how is all of that going? Because I share constantly that as a mom of a teenager, I'm struggling with everything that's happening, and back to school and parenting, and when I intervene and when I let them do it on their own. Let's talk a little bit about parenting.
Yes, it's obviously the biggest part of our lives and the most important part, at least in my eyes. And it's been a balance. I'm a single mom, and I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. Of course, I have my stores and friends and family too, balancing it all just like everyone else. I will say back to school has been easy for my daughter. She is just so easy, and a little bit of a challenge for my son. He is he's just so mischievous and silly, and struggles to focus, and he's just the class clown. And so we've already had a parent teacher. We're only 4 weeks in, and we've already had a parent teacher conference. And so
shout out to Rob. My husband is definitely the class clown.
Oh my goodness. Well, see, and he's very smart. He just, he has a lot of energy, and he struggles to focus. It is a thing, and it makes it less easy. For me, it's balancing out because my daughter is so easy, and and I still give her focus and attention just like I do him, because you don't want to let that end. But I am spending a lot of extra time working with him, and like even this morning he was bouncing off the walls, and I was like, let's get this book, and because I have this book that can show you how to draw. And meanwhile, I'm trying to get ready. I had to be perfectly ready.
To go come. Yes. And you have a big event.
Well, I also, today was the first day of the PTO meeting at the school.
No.
I wanted to be involved this year because my son is struggling. And so historically I have not been involved. I'm just too busy. But I was like, this is important for my children that I'm involved. So I had to be get them up, get them ready, although they're mostly self-sufficient, get myself ready, go to PTO, and then come here. And then during the PTO meeting, I somehow volunteered to be on the board. I was like, but I'm actually super excited. I wasn't planning on doing that. I just was planning on going and being in the know and trying to stay more connected. But I am really excited about it, being there and being with the other moms and dads of other parents that really care and want to make the best year for the teachers and the kids. I'm really excited about it, actually. I came out of there going, I am so glad I did this. I went in with one idea of why I was doing it, and I came out with that same idea, but other ideas, and I'm just super excited about it. And I am going to squeeze it in. I have such a strong team here that I'm at a point where I can take some more time like that to do the mom things because my team here is so strong. I'm so lucky. Balancing it all is something. It's ongoing. It's a learning process, and I don't know that I would love to meet the moms and dads that are doing it perfectly because maybe I could learn something. But I do think it's just a constant moving target, and you should never expect perfection from yourself because I don't think it's out there. But if you're doing your best, to do what you need to be doing, I think that's all you can do. And you know, my kids are constantly telling me how much they love me. I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I must be doing something right. Gosh darn it, you know.
Exactly.
So.
No, that is the best reward,
ever. Yeah.
Acclaim that we could ever have. So a friend of mine today was talking to me about Brene Brown, The Gift of Imperfection, and I was telling her about these conversations I've been having with Bella and worrying that I'm being too harsh, but sometimes they need to like hear the hard things. And I think the other thing is, if you ask the busiest person in the room to do something, they're the person who's most likely to get it done. And if we want to make a change in our community, we have to be the change.
Right.
And it's difficult to keep committing to other things, but when you see that there's a need, and if you're a person that's really connected, then you can't help but say yes when the timing comes up. I know I agreed to be on our auction committee at EHS, so I'm doing
so good.
Yes, I know. I said I would never be on an auction committee again. But you believe in what the school's doing, and I have to say, there's the greatest success of my business since COVID has been with social media, and it has also been the hardest thing for my daughter to experience, because these kids aren't just exposed at school to whatever happens, but it's exposure after and through what realizing that they're not invited to the birthday party and everyone's there. It's a chance for someone to text something that they'd never feel comfortable saying to your face. It's something real that as a community and as a PTO, and I was happy to see as Episcopal High School, they're really looking at the community and the way the kids are interacting together. So it's hard. I want everyone to know that there's no one doing it perfectly, and the best way to make the change is to be the change and to start with yourself, your family, and what you're doing with everyone. So you've been so authentic with us. You were even authentic with me, saying that you're 49. I am openly telling people I'm 53. My style has changed so much, but if I came in and wanted you to help me pick out a few pieces for fall, what would you say the key pieces are? We talked about pink, we talked about faux leather. What would you say to add? Would it be the faux leather shorts?
Well, I would first ask, you know, tell me about your lifestyle, tell me how you spend your time, because we don't already know a lot about the customer, which, you know, a lot of our customers are repeat customers. We know a lot about them and their families and their children and just what they're doing, and so we do know a lot. But if we like to start asking questions to really guide what we're going to suggest, and so knowing that you're in front of the camera a lot, you're in front of your customers a lot. I know you're very active socially out there, and so you know, after asking some questions, I would definitely put you in a bright blazer. You wear it so well. Plus, it's a great layer that you can use over dresses, over denim, over skirts, over pants. I mean, it's so user. T-shirts. So I think a blazer is a great leather jacket is a nice way to kind of, and you get a lot of mileage out of it, and it can really change your look. So you're wearing a dress and then you put on a leather jacket, you've got a whole different look.
Yes, because you have the floral and the more peasant vintage style mixed with this juxtaposition of a leather jacket, which you used to think of as like a Harley Davidson driver. So, and I love that, because I've brought in Todd Ramos comes and helps me in my closet once a season, or sometimes more if I need it. But that's what's really changed my dress, is someone just kind of pushing me. And they don't even have to have a stylist to shop here. You can help them just figure out what thing can maybe change something up so you see it in a different way than you've ever seen it.
That's right.
And you guys are posting videos, I see, and you're showing new products that come in. I think that helps too, where people don't feel like they have to come to the store every week but they could tune in and learn like what new thing came in and just reach out through social media?
Absolutely. So we were doing a lot with social media before, but it really amped up. That's another thing that really sort of changed with our business through COVID. Is we were already in the process of amping it up, but when COVID hit, it was like that's how we were connecting with our customers because we weren't connecting in the stores, and so. Very positively, we are more engaged on social media than we ever were, and I think our customers are really appreciating it. Even now that the stores are open, they can start by looking on our social media and ask us questions through social media. And just this morning, I was responding to a customer about a pair of jeans that she saw on a posting I did. Letting her know the sizes, sending her the link if she wanted to shop online or come in and try them in the store. So it's a way to start the communication before they walk in the door. And if they don't have time to walk in the door, now they can shop online. So, yeah.
And I love that you can come in and try on, because I'm a texture person. I have a really hard time shopping online without seeing and feeling. And I'm always flattered when people say to us, you're like a real that has a store, because and you can come in and see what you have, feel it, touch it, try it on. Are you finding that if you can get someone in a dressing room, you can sometimes even open up their mind to more things?
Absolutely. I think working with a stylist, whether it's in a store or in your closet, is really important, because you might put on a blazer and go, but then we show you what to put under it or how to cuff the sleeve, and you're like,
or even how to have it shortened just a bit to make it fit better, because
it just changes the proportion.
Fit can change so much.
It's so true. And so you can take something that that you purchased online, it was delivered, you tried it on, you looked in the mirror, you're like, that could still be an amazing piece if you let someone show you how to style it on your body.